Your presence is very powerful in terms of how protective it can be. I don't know if there's something divine behind it, but I lean more and more in that direction over the years as I get older. Although I have to admit, I'm not the most religious of individuals. As far as organized religion is concerned, maybe I'm not as devout as I should be. But I'm drifting off topic. I won't get into the difference between the structure of it all and the beliefs behind it, because like I said, I'm getting off topic. Your presence, though, I said divine, but there's certainly something. I want to use the word ephemeral, but I don't think I'm familiar enough with the meaning to really feel comfortable using it. I'll have to look it up after this. It sounds right. Your presence is something very delicate, very fragile. Some people may disagree. I think those people are very fortunate. Those people are, again, here's another word. Those people are blessed in a way that not everybody is. I got to be careful with that word, right? Those people are very fortunate. People who take things like this for granted. Your presence is definitely delicate and fragile. For a lot of us, it is. And I suppose it takes being on either side of it to understand how powerful it can be, how protective. What I really want to talk about is things like anger and fear. Those are the first to come to mind, and I'll leave it at that, not to complicate this discussion / monologue too much. Anger and fear, they're the first to come to mind, and they're also very closely related. Anger, I believe, and in some way I've always believed deep down, even if I wasn't consciously aware of it, anger is deeply rooted in fear. Anger is a defense mechanism. Anger provides the guise of a protection, but obviously it doesn't protect you. There's a cost. There's a cost. There's always a price, which is the end result of anger. So it doesn't protect you per se, even if it keeps you alive. Anger is a response that is generated by fear. It is a response that give me a second. I'll try to keep this simple. Anger can cloud your judgment. It can cloud you. It can cloud your perception of things, and it can take away your presence. And just by doing that, it's already stripped you of that protection I mentioned. And all you're going to get now is a cheap imitation. But where does fear come into this, right? Fear is the precursor to anger, right? Anger is sort of the response you provide when something within you, out of a place of fear, tells you that you should provide a response. Anger is not a snap. It is not the final, or sorry, it's not, it's not a snap judgment in a sense. Anger is the culmination of a process, which begins in fear. So it's the anger which clouds you, which clouds your judgment, but the fear gets the ball rolling, so to speak. That presence, when it's lost, you lose the momentum that comes behind it. You stop moving, right? You lose the defense that comes from that offense. And so now you're going to look for something to replace it. Fear is going to prod you. That sensation is going to prod you to find something. And anger is certainly, it's a handy and too often readily available option. Rather than keeping your eye on the prize, continuing to live life and continuing to elevate yourself and to build yourself and to do the things you need to do, right? The work of life, as I like to call it. Rather than do that, you're just going to lose your temper. You're going to get angry. You're going to make a show of things. You're going to perhaps intimidate. And that will get you nothing more than, it won't get you much. It might get you anger in response. It might get you shunning in response, right? Somebody might just not want to put up with it. Somebody might respond with their own anger, which may be better, it may be worse. It's hard to say. And somebody may just cut you off or say, I don't want to deal with you, and walk away or run away. Those are generally the two responses you're going to get, and neither of them are good, right? Somebody walks away, well, they walk away, right? Pretty straightforward. Somebody responds with anger of their own. You might be the victor in whatever showdown transpires, but even then, you don't win. You were goaded into something, a battle of sorts, and you are not going to emerge a winner. There are going to be no winners. There's going to be a loser and perhaps an even bigger loser. That's the best you're going to get is you're going to be the guy who loses less than the other guy, less than the other person, when you let anger cloud your judgment. So you've already lost. You're already in the red. Try as you may, desperately as you may try, you're not going to turn that red into black. The best you're going to be able to do is make the other guy's red even redder, so that maybe by some off chance, in comparison, your red looks black, right? It's nonsense. It can't happen. It can't be done. You get angry, you lose. You've already lost. No matter who you are, no matter how big and bad you are, no matter how tough, no matter how cold, no matter how ruthless, none of that matters. You lose your temper, you get angry. It isn't that you're going to lose and that it's guaranteed. It's that you've already lost. And you have a chance to maybe make the other party involved or parties look worse than you, but that's the best you're going to get. And how do you think that's going to turn out for you? Do you think that resentment isn't going to build, tension isn't going to be there at the end of the day, when the dust settles and the smoke is gone, nothing good comes of it. Nothing at all.